All right. Welcome, everyone, and hello, Internet. Welcome back to Survivors Complex. We are here for our second session of our newly ongoing campaign today. So welcome back to anyone that decided to rejoin us for our second session. We'll be getting started here in a moment. I'm going to do our recap of our last session. If you haven't had a chance to see the last session or our first session of the game, it's up on youtube.com/YouPickGaming if you'd like to watch it. Otherwise, enjoy viewing us and as our group ventures forward today. So, kicking off our game, unless anybody else has anything to say before I get started. Okay. In our last session, you had arrived on the Graldarr continent. You had traveled for weeks across the Felthorn Pass on the Maven's Courage, escorting a Grandallian delegation. You docked off the northern coast of Graldarr and climbed up the cliffs to Fort Harrington. There, you were met by stalwart Captain Sarah Race and invited to join in on their harvest festival. The festival was in full swing before too long. However, the merriment was cut short due to the attacks of a bizarre group of nearly human-sized tree frogs called Grung. You were able to fend off the attack, but not before they had stolen the sword of Captain Race. It seemed that the danger had passed and none had been too severely injured from the attack. You decided to hear out Captain Race and to find out more of what had been going on within Fort Harrington. Traveling into the keep, you discussed some of the problems that Fort Harrington had been having in this area of Grandallian sort of colonization here. You found out that they had been attacked, or these attacks from the Grung had been ongoing for months now, and had been growing steadily more and more aggressive in their behaviors. You learned that a farm to the southern edge of the Grandallian territory here on Graldarr had been overtaken or overrun by these Grung. You had also learned that a outpost to the west had disappeared, or not disappeared, but had not failed to report in over the past few days, and they were a bit late reporting, which was odd. You had also learned that a number of children had gone missing, disappearing towards the end of the day as they had journeyed out were playing out in the fields outside the fort. All in all, it seems that the people of Fort Harrington had fallen on difficult times and were in need of some assistance, being undermanned and short-staffed. You decided to take them up on this offer by journeying to the south towards this farm. You spent the rest of the day sort of gathering yourselves, getting some supplies, resting within the tavern in the city, or in the fort, and preparing yourself for your journey outside into the unexplored areas of Graldarr. So that is where we pick up our session here today, with your group of 7 newly formed adventurers heading out of the southern gates of Fort Harrington. As you journey towards the gates, the guards motion to let you pass. However, one of them looks over towards Lucius and stops him for a moment. Says, "Sir, are you Lucius? You're with Oasis?" And you see your tiefling companion kind of grimace a bit and look back and say, "Yes. What is it that you want?" The guard says, "Stalwart Captain Race and the Commandant wish to speak with you. There's been a correspondence with your group. Seems some business for us to discuss." Lucius kind of looks dejected, a bit frustrated, and says, We were just about to head out on business for the stalwart captain. I do not know why you are bothering me with this now. I have business to take care of. And the guard stops him and says, I'm sorry, sir, you must come with me now. So Lucius looks back towards all of you and says, are you alright to journey without me for a while? I trust you can take care of some frogs.
Yeah, we'll be alright.
Miss you.
Yes. Barb, why don't you come with me as well? They may need to hear your input. Barb shrugs and looks at her axe, or her newly strung axe, kind of forlorn, wishing to use it, but she puts it back onto resting across her back and hangs her head low and follows behind Lucius, who waves off to you guys and heads back towards the fort.
Just wondering, do we know who Oasis are and what they're doing, or is that you?
I would say that most of you would have a general idea of this organization. It's sort of a resistance group that has been the stuff of many rumors amongst the northern kingdoms at this point. It's some sort of resistance group within Ondok here that has been fighting against the oppression there. Beyond that, you don't really know much.
Okay, just wanted to ask.
Yeah, you all are aware, considering his place in the delegation. You guys are sort of kind of aware of maybe some of your presences and why you're here, and I believe, and he can correct me next time when he's back if this isn't the case, but I believe that you guys are aware of his membership of this group, that he is, or that he is somehow affiliated with this organization.
Alright. So, same plan? Just without Bob's music?
Yeah, Dan, I think it's you and I walking down the lane and everybody else kind of being sneaky.
Alright.
I can't see why it would possibly go wrong anywhere here now. The same plan should work. We just won't have as much muscle or toughness there to distract me and Kara from what we're doing.
Well, it's pretty open around here, so how are you guys gonna get to the woods?
Partway down the path, we should be able to see what signs the Grung are, what the Grung are doing, how close they may have ventured to the fort from the farm. If possible, we may be able to see a route into the forest where we could get to a good vantage point for our gunner here, and hopefully a route to find a back entrance into the farm.
Okay, well, Den, you ready to set out? Because I kind of feel like we should go first.
I'm always ready.
See you guys at the farm.
Just yell if something goes wrong, I guess.
Y'all be safe, please.
Always.
We
it's
will.
the Grung who have to worry.
Right.
Okay, so you guys begin traveling to the south along the road, and then the plan is to break off and sort of split up as you get close to the farm, if I'm understanding. Okay, so you travel outside the gates across the small bridge that spans the moat and begin following this rough path that winds through these hillsides leading to the south. You can see that there's farmland to the east and west of you that isn't your current destination, but there are small homes and other groupings of small cottages that the people of Yvrandal that are living here are currently dwelling in, but you make your way between them as you journey to the south. There are some small wooded areas, some outcroppings of trees that dot the landscape as you wind your way through the hillsides. All in all, it's a pleasant mid-morning at this point. The sun beginning to hit its zenith in the sky, and the heat is beginning to sort of catch on at this point. That dense, humid jungle atmosphere kind of permeating even away from the jungle environment, from the tree lines that you see miles to the south. As you continue your trek, a few miles pass before you crest a ridge, and you can see the farmland that you have been pointed out. Oop, we just lost Alex. Okay, we were back. All right, we are back. Sorry, we're gonna get things kind of rearranged here for a second. Everything exploded momentarily. Walking through the forest, boulder fall, everyone dies.
We got attacked by giant spiders.
Yeah,
So apparently when a tree does fall in a forest, everyone hears it.
or at least someone's internet goes out. Savannah, you let me know when we're somewhat presentable. We can start without distraction. Okay. All right. So, as you crest the ridge to peer out over the southern farmlands, you can see the farm ahead of you for the first time now. It's actually a bit smaller than you might have expected. There's about 12 acres of land, most of it just almost barren landscape. Looks to be a rather large sort of potato farm, though the crops either already been harvested or have been lost due to this, the trouble they've been having. At the most northern edge of the farmland, you see a single cottage perched in front of a small grouping of trees. There is a small pen to the, that'll be the the west of the cottage, with it looks to be some livestock roaming around in it, a few cattle. So how would you all like to approach?
From where we are, can we see any sort of Grung activity?
Make a perception check.
$11.
11. As you peer out towards the farm, you don't see groups of Grung all gathered around the outside of it. You do see something perched on top of the part of the house that is closest to you. You can't make out what it is, though. It could be a Grung.
How far out are we?
Probably about half a mile. You're at a higher elevation, so you're able to get a good view or lay of the land, but you are a fair distance away still.
Well, guys, do you want to start making your way for the forest and we can just kind of make a real slow mosey?
It's probably the best plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll have everyone that is currently trying to stealth through the tall grass and the trees off to the sides of the road make a stealth check.
21.
8.
26.
All right. Did we lose somebody? Oh,
Yeah,
we
we
lost.
lost Sarah.
Oh, damn. Okay, we'll be right back, guys. All right, back again. Sorry, everyone, for the tech issues. It's bumping around from person to person, so hopefully it stops there. I'll go ahead and answer a question I saw in the chat while Span is getting all this mess sorted out. Soul Stitcher is a class that I homebrewed a while back, never got a chance to play it, and now Kyle is the first official playtester that is going to be going through it. So we're going to be adjusting it a little as we go, and I'm going to be making tweaks to it to make sure it's balanced. But it's available on DM's Guild if you want to check it out for free. So you can go check it out there if you wish. Are we all good to go, Stan? All right. So as three of you begin to stealth away into the tall grass towards the tree lines, Lilibet and Den, the two of you follow this rough sort of stone and gravel pathway leading south towards the farmland. Let's see.
I would like to keep an eye out for Grung along the way, since we know they live in trees and stuff.
Okay, yeah, you can make a perception check.
I'm gonna be looking at the ground for tracks.
Okay. You look for tracks. Make a survival check.
Okay, I rolled a natural 20, so a 26 for
Nice.
me. Show me those frogs.
And I'm sorry, you said perception. I was loading my character sheet.
If you're looking for tracks, it's survival. Or I guess, I'll let you do perception to find the tracks, and then you use, if you're actually tracking something, it'd be more survival. So if you have perception, you can use it. Did she freeze or did... She's either sitting really still or she froze. Oh, man.
Guys, I think the stream is actually haunted.
I think so. Oh,
This is what we get for playing on tax day.
Oh, man. Okay, I guess we'll do it again. I'll go ahead and post the link to the DM's Guild things. I saw that in the chat while we're waiting. We'll be right back again, guys. Again, so sorry. All right. We are back again. Clearly, technology is trying to kill us. The robots are self-aware, and they don't like D&D. So we are trying to get through this 3 minutes of gameplay at a time. So hopefully it won't happen again, and we will we'll see. But we're really sorry about this, and we're gonna try to push through and keep going. So Savannah, if you need a second to get everything going. All right, we're good. So as you finally make your way down this ridge, and I'm starting to feel like it's this ridge that's the problem. Sadell, I'm trying to remember, Kara, or the artist currently known as Kara, and Star, you are making your way down this into the tall grass towards the tree line at the outskirts of this farm, while Lilibet and Den, the two of you, are heading directly up the path towards the road. Lilibet, you were making a perception check.
Yes, let me roll 20 is not loading, of course.
That's fine. I'll talk about the people stealthing right now, and once you let me know once you made that check. As the three of you moving out into the grass, Star and Saren, the two of you very quietly picking your way through and staying low. And behind you, you hear the crunch, crunch, and the rattling of small bits of metal as Sadell is currently making a bit more noise than you, coming along behind. You can hear him kind of muttering under his breath. Trying to stay as quiet as possible, though. The aggregate stealth value of your little entourage there being enough to possibly avoid any unwanted attention. As the two of you, Den and Lilibet, make your way towards the house.
I got a perception roll of 15. Sorry to interrupt.
15. So you're looking for tracks on the ground, or okay. So you're looking down into the mud and the stone underneath you. You don't see a lot of tracks moving here through here. Not a huge force by any means. You do see some hoof prints of horses probably making their way through. You don't know how long it might have been since they came through here, and some other boot prints as well. You do not see any Grung prints coming through here. You don't know if they haven't traveled this road, or if they just have taken another path, but you don't currently see them where you are. However, Den, with your perception check, looking into the trees around you, you don't see any Grung peering down from the branches above. However, you do look over towards the house, and you notice what Star saw before. And you do see towards the front of the house, sitting up on the roof, kind of cross-legged, is a green creature. Looks to be a Grung, just sitting on the roof, staring out over the landscape, seeming intent in your direction.
And how far is he from us?
As you're making your way down the hill, a few hundred yards.
Lil!
What's up?
There's one on the roof! I point him out.
Do I, in my little tiny halfling eyes, see it?
Yeah, now when she points it out to you and you peer in that direction, and they're small creatures, and he's sitting fairly still, almost unnoticeable on the roof, but you do make him out the silhouette of this Grung currently perched on the ridge of the rooftop.
They don't know they're in for a party!
Do you think he's, looking out? Do you think the rest of them are inside? I don't see anywhere else.
I mean, they seem halfway smart, so probably. I mean, they were smart enough to put somebody in the wine they knew we'd all drink, or most of us would drink, so.
Alright. You want to make some noise?
I can't help but make noise, but let's make more noise!
Okay, as we keep walking towards the house, I take out my my warhammer and my shield and start banging them together. Just making a ton of noise.
So those of you that are sneaking through the woods, suddenly Sadel's noise and the disturbance that he's making is suddenly drowned out by this horrid clanking noise that echoes from the pathway to your right. You hear Den just wailing on her shield with her hammer, sending this cacophonous clanging noise throughout this small glen here.
And Lil is shouting,
Here! Grungy, 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 grung!
Yeah, I start yelling. What is the chief's name? Terakawa! Come out and play!
The grung on the roof kind of stands up a bit and crouches low, moves its way forward to the edge, and you hear it up there just as it stares out at you, just kind of ribbit.
Yeah, we see you! We're coming to get you!
But it just sits there staring at you as you approach.
I'm gonna be looking at, like, around the farm. I'm assuming there's a window or two. Excuse me, and maybe a door. So I'm looking to see if I notice any movement.
Okay. So as the two of you make your way a bit closer, you begin to survey the front. You see the side of the fence where this cow is currently penned in. There's one that's moving its way towards the edge of the gate. There's a big pile of hay next to it looks like it's seen some rain, has been well attended to since the farm's been abandoned. There are some barrels stacked up to the right side of the house, or the right side of the entryway, and the path itself leads up to a small porch and with an overhang over which the grung is currently sitting on, and a closed door that leads in. There are some windows along the front facade of the house, but they're currently darkened. You don't see any movement or anything inside. Go to make a perception check.
What's another 15?
15. And Dan, are you doing the same? Or are you...
Yeah. Oh, that's a 14.
14. Okay, so the two of you creep your way forward. You look through the front of the house. You don't see any movement coming from inside, and the door isn't opening. You do just vaguely make out a little bit of movement behind the barrels to the right.
I nudged Denton.
Which one do you want?
You pick.
Well, I'm short, so I'm going for the barrels.
Alright. Start going that way.
Okay. Those of you that are stealthing, you make your way up to the tree line as close as you can get to the house before the exposed, or before there's the open area of just flat landscape. You're not too far, maybe about 30 feet or so away from the path that your other companions are currently walking down. And you get a vague idea of what's going on. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
As we're approaching the farm, I want to look at the tree line around it and try to spot which is the tallest tree there.
Okay. So you're just looking for the tallest tree you can find?
Tallest tree, best one that it looks like that I think would be able to get a vantage point off.
Okay, so you're
want to sit in it comfortably.
Okay. I won't make you make a check for that. It's pretty easy to do as you're making your way slowly forward. You scan the tree lines, and you do see one that is just between you and where Den and Lilibet are currently walking. It's a fairly thick tree with a few low branches that you could grapple onto to be able to climb up easily. It looks like it'd be a pretty good spot.
I just sort of usher everyone else towards the tree as I go towards it, because I'm just assuming that I'm walking out in front because this is my homeland and stuff. First I look at Saddle and point to the tree, just to see if he thinks it's okay or not.
Yeah, would I be able to climb it?
I don't know. Do you think you'd be able to climb it?
Yes.
Be an athletics check to climb the tree.
Actually, first, I was going to climb the tree.
Okay.
I also have a natural climbing speed of 20
do.
feet because I
You
have
don't-
horns.
Yeah, you don't need a check to climb it. You just climb as you would walk up the tree.
Then I will just let him handle that.
Okay. So Saddle sees you point to the tree and you go over to it and dig your claws into the bark and begin to scale the side of it relatively easily. As Saddle, you just stand there and nope.
I'm just going to check as I'm climbing if there's anything already in this tree.
Okay. Yeah, make a perception check.
Six.
You're climbing it and you're focusing pretty intently on finding good handholds, not getting any loose bark. You scan up into the boughs of the tree and you don't see anything up there. Maybe a bird kind of flutters off, but that's about it.
Well, I'll just climb to the top and see what happens then.
Okay. Saren, anything you're doing?
I'm just watching this all happen.
Okay. And Saddle, you're just staying kind of at the base of the tree.
Yeah, I'll probably get up against it. Just get my gun ready.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys over to the map that you guys are all generally in the area of. I know, Savannah, you've got to move some stuff around since the map got changed up.
That is a really big cow.
Is a large cow.
We grow big in Graldarr.
It's the beautiful, beautiful fresh forest air here. Does some wonders of good.
So now that you guys have an idea of your positioning as you're making your way forward, Den and Lilibet, the two of you are approaching the house. Correct. Anything you're doing now that you're at this point?
You said that the other one was over here?
You saw a little bit of movement behind the barrels. You haven't seen what's back there yet.
What's back there yet? Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. You know, I've been this confident going forward, so sorry, my dog. I'm gonna move up to here, keeping an eye on the barrels. See what's
Okay.
going on. I know the guy's up there, but I'm not.
Not worried about him.
Well, he's gonna come and attack me when he's going to. I want to see if I can not get a surprise attack from Barrel Dude.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of follow her, but stay on the side of the barrels, kind of keeping an eye on them.
Okay. All right. And as you two make it forward into this clearing, the Grung moves up towards the edge of the building, looking down at you, and its beady black eyes staring down, glistening in the light, and it lets out kind of a growl in your direction and smiles a bit. Its jagged, pointy teeth gleaming as it stares down at you. It reaches back towards its belt and gives out a kind of a chirping noise. And as it does, you both see this Grung that you saw by the barrels there, this movement you saw by the barrels there. Grung comes leaping out from behind them, seeming almost surprised as you're aware of its presence. I'm going to move that to the token layer. However, as you move forward, you also hear a rustling behind you, or kind of to the left, and at that point, two other Grung come jumping out of the hay that you hadn't noticed previously and come rushing in your direction. I need everyone to roll for initiative.
I'll need to change my initiative when the tracker comes up because I forgot to click my token because I am the smartest.
That's fine. Okay. Is everybody on the tracker then? All right.
I have
So.
to change it again because it changed my number back for some reason.
Oh, did it? Okay. What's your actual initiative? Oh.
13. I've managed to change it and it should hopefully stay now. There we go. That's gone right.
All right. So. It's a bit of a complicated situation here. So all of you in the trees are unaware. They don't seem to notice your presence yet. You all see these Grung leap out of the brush, out of the hay here, and begin to charge over towards Lilibet and Saren, or Lilibet and Den. How are you all reacting?
I would like to just sort of get down to the tree on one of the low branches where I can get a good foothold and hold an arm down for Sadel to grab onto if he wants.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and start then. Let's see. We're going to have a surprise round for part of them here. So, Saren, you get to go first because you are currently... this is going to be a surprise round where it's just going to be Saren, Star, the two Grung that were able to subvert your attention or avoid your attention, and then it'll be the rest of you.
Yeah, I actually don't
Yay.
either. No one is safe from the tech difficulties.
No, it's just bouncing around all over the place.
It's either going to be you or me, Sean.
We are
Take
being
bets on
punished.
who goes next.
Yeah, really. We are being punished for our perfect stream last week.
Yep. My bet is that it'll be me because one of my roommates just got home, so he's probably going to start playing Overwatch, which is going to kill the internet. That is a rather large cow, though.
I think cows are actually large in the book, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And I can guarantee in real life, cows are pretty damn big.
Nah.
I have been to Scotland as well, and Highland cows are the biggest things I've ever seen.
Are those the fluffy cows?
The big woolly ones that
Yeah.
look yeah.
Weren't you going to have one of those as a mount at one point, Julie?
Yeah, with Sable, like lawful good paladin.
I've seen.
Okay.
that.
She's about to turn it back on in a second, so watch what you're saying for a little bit. I'm going to go and just cut the music for a second. Are we back on? Okay. All right. And another one of us has succumbed to random internet problems. So we're getting that worked out. So I think that's 3 out of 6 of us that have lost internet, with Sarah liking it so much that she decided to do it twice. So Dylan and I and Julie, we'll see if we decide to lose internet too. I might just kick the router over, so we'll see how that goes. So Savannah's getting all that sorted out, and again, we had no tech problems last week, so enjoy the video from last week while you're waiting for us to deal with tech problems from this week. But I think we're good to get started once again. I'll get my combat music going. We'll do different music. Maybe that'll keep it from happening again. All right.
That's the
So-
problem. Internet gods don't like the music you're playing.
Yeah. Saren, you were saying.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to just crouch down. I'm going to just hide.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to do.
So you're maintaining yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So you rush to the edge of the trees, crouch down, keeping low near the base of some underbrush and next to one of the tree trunks, and watching what's going on. Where did my initiative order tracker go? All right, guys, help me out here. Star's next.
Yeah, I'm after Veteran.
Okay. And Star, you are using. What are you doing on your turn? You said you were gonna help.
I'm gonna just sort of
Settle.
get down to one of the lower branches where I can get a good foothold. Just hold my arm down for Sadel to grab onto, and I'll just hold my action. My action being to lift him up.
Okay. So you kind of get a bit lower, straddling one of the branches, grabbing onto one of the ones above you, and then holding your other arm down to help Sadel up. All right. And there we go. That'll put it to the Grung's turn. So these two.
You said this one would be a surprise round, so and we've still got Sadel to go.
It's a surprise round with the 2 of you, or with the 3 of you and the Grungs all going in part of the
Okay.
same surprise round. So both of you were able to subvert the other's attentions. So these ones are going to move forward. Uh, 25 feet, so 5, 10, 15. 5. So they're going to rush up to here. And as they're running up towards the two of you, both of them take daggers and hurl them at each one of you, Lilibet and Den. So Lilibet, are you using your shield?
I don't have a shield.
You don't have a shield. Okay. I forgot. That will be that'll be a hit against you. And a miss against Den. So 2 daggers come hurling in your direction. One sinks between your chainmail, Lilibet. The other one, Den, glances off your shield, kind of deflecting and sailing into the air by off to the side. Lilibet, you take 6 points of piercing damage and 5 poison damage. And that will end their surprise round. Sado.
That's me. Is it gonna take my action to climb up into this tree?
I'll say because Star is holding his and using his action, I will allow it. Since it's taking his action, I won't make it use your action.
Okay, then I will grab on.
If that's what Star wants to do. Okay, then yeah. So you grab onto his hand, and I'll give either one of you, whoever's going to do the most pulling here. Actually, Star, I'll have you make an athletics check with advantage.
$15.
That's enough. Okay, so you grasp forearms, and Star, you use your momentum and leverage to haul him up onto the branch, hanging off the side of it yourself. Sado, you feel yourself pulled up, and you land kind of straddling one of the lower tree branches here, having a pretty good view of all the grung now. You can see the one hopping out from behind the barrel and the one on top of the tree. Or not the tree, the house.
Okay. I'll shoot at the one on top of the house then.
Okay. So you line up your thunder cannon.
24.
That'll hit.
14 piercing damage.
Okay, so you aim with your thunder cannon towards the roof, seeing the grung kind of leering over the side, snickering as it sees the others jump out and attack a little bit, who takes a pretty heavy blow from the dagger. You aim, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, you squeeze the trigger. You watch as the top of the grung's head is just blown off, scattering brain across the back of the house there, as in one shot that grung has been destroyed. There is a heavy explosion, this thunderous crack that emanates through the area, and suddenly all 3 grung curling on the ground freeze and look up in your direction towards the trees. All of them seeming panicked and a bit worried, seeing one of their comrades just smoked at that point. Well done. So that'll end the surprise round. So that'll put us with Den now.
All right. I would like to use my bonus action to cast Healing Word on Lil. It's my turn this time.
All right.
I rolled 7, so 7 healing for her.
Okay, so you speak one of the a small prayer under your breath, and as you do, there's sort of this sparking of electricity in the area around you, Lil, and you feel the surge of energy kind of begin to cauterize the wound that you sustained from the dagger, and the poison itself almost seems to leave your system a bit.
Okay, then I would like to move up to the 2 Grung that are over here. Kind of around her. And I'll use my action to swing my Warhammer at the blue one.
Okay.
That's a 24.
That'll hit.
8 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, you bring up your Warhammer, and with a mighty crack, you bring it down on top of this small frog creature in front of you. Is slammed to the ground, and it begins to pull itself back up. You can see a bit of blood running out the corner of its mouth, and it seems broken and bloodied from that one hit, but it is still up and on its feet.
I'm having frog legs tonight. That's it.
All right. Saren, back to you.
Okay, I'm going to break my stealth on this turn, and I'm going to kind of run up next to Den, and I'll attack the one that she just hit.
Okay.
It's a 16 and a 9 with offhand.
Okay, the 16 hits, the 9 misses.
Okay, that's 8 slashing and 6 for sneak attack.
Wow, nice. That is one dead frog. As you come rushing up, sliding across the gravel, you take your scimitars and slash horizontally at this Grung as it's getting back to its feet. One of your blades just glances off its armor, sending it spinning. However, the other one catches it across the throat and with a clean cut almost decapitate this Grung as it spins through the air and then kind of skidding over to the base of the house. Its lifeless body resting there.
Wonderful. That is all.
Okay. Star, back to you.
I would like to leap out of the tree and run up behind this Grung here.
Okay, so you go catapulting out of the tree, no pun intended, breaking through the foliage, landing behind this Grung who begins to turn in your direction. Go ahead and make your attack.
Oh, wow. 7 and an 11.
Okay, those are both going to miss. So, unfortunately, because the Grung was aware of your positioning, given the explosion from Sadel's thunder cannon, as you leap from the tree and land behind it, has just enough time to duck out of the way as both your daggers plunge into the soft earth beneath it as it rolls to the side. You rip your daggers back out and prepare yourself for your next strike, but unfortunately you miss with both of those.
That's my turn.
It is the Grung's turn now. So this green Grung, now stuck in the middle of the three of you, not really having anywhere to go, is going to... It is going to disengage with its action. And it is actually going to spring down and leap up between all of you and actually up onto the roof of the house to try to get away, just on the edge of it. It looks down in the direction, sees the dead body next to it, sort of flinches from that, and goes to try to scamper up the house a bit, trying to get away.
Hey, Sean, can I ask a mechanics question?
Yes.
Okay, since I wasn't directly next to him when he disengaged, does the disengage still affect me with my whip?
Yeah, when they disengage, they can't take attacks of opportunity that round. Yeah. Good question, though. The other Grung over here is going to pull out a dagger, and it is going to hurl it over at... it's going to hurl at you, Saren, considering that you decapitated its friend.
Okay.
However, that is not going to hit you. The dagger sails overhead. You're able to dodge out of the way of it as it nearly misses Star as well, plunging itself out into the earth about 5 or 10 feet away. And then that Grung is going to duck back behind the barrels over here. Sadell.
I'm gonna take a shot at the one that just jumped up onto the roof.
All right.
The 15.
15 hits.
10 piercing.
10 piercing. All right. With another explosion, the projectile is sent screeching towards the roof, hits the Grung in the back, and the Grung loses its footing for a second, begins sliding down the roof. It's still alive, just barely hanging off on the edge, but it slides back down just to the edge of the roof, trying to catch on. I'm actually going to make it make a dexterity saving throw to try to latch on to the side of the paneling there. And it is able to. Its one arm just sticks onto the top of the roof, and it's holding itself in place, just dangling off the edge of it. Blood rushing down the back of its left shoulder, seeming heavily injured from that attack. I assume that ends your turn?
Yes.
Okay, a little bit.
Okay. I am going to run up, pull out my warhammer, and two-handed slam this Grung on the head.
Okay.
It's a 15
That hits.
for 8 bludgeoning. And I'm gonna actually add my divine smite to it as well.
Okay.
Yes,
Go
why
and roll.
not?
Go and roll that too.
Okay, and then that's another 9 points of radiant damage, so 17 overall.
Nice. So with one heavy slam as you retaliate against this Grung, throwing daggers at your companions, you come rushing around the barrels, bring up your warhammer as it glows with divine fire. You bring it striking down at this Grung and send its... You hear a crack as it impacts the back of this Grung's head, sending it face first into the dirt. It hits the ground with a heavy thud and does not move.
Guys, I got one!
You hear Lilibet's excited cries echo from over the barrels to the far right of the house. That'll put it back to the top of the round with Den.
All right. Can I, from where I am, can I see the one that's hanging off the roof?
Yeah, you can barely see it kind of hanging off to the side. Its little green legs dangling through the air.
Aw. I'll sacred flame him.
Okay.
So that's a dexterity saving throw for him. For the
I'll give him
frog.
disadvantage on this saving throw, considering he's hanging off the side of a roof right now.
My DC is 14.
Even with disadvantage, he is able to succeed on the saving throw. And actually, as the fire is looking straight up at the sky, as the fire begins to form, and it works its way around the side of the roof as the blaze of radiant energy comes streaking down, impacting a little bit of the roof itself, and mostly the grass underneath, scorching the area in kind of a circle of flame.
Fine.
And he rolled really well on that dexterity saving throw.
Good for him. He is a frog, so.
Is a frog, yes.
That is all I can do.
Okay, that'll put it to Saren's turn then.
Okay, how high up is the roof?
Not too high. It's a single-story farmhouse, so the roof itself is maybe about 12 feet up or so. The Grung hanging off the side is probably about 8 feet up.
Okay, I'll move and then I'll throw daggers at it.
Okay.
Okay, that's a 14 and a 16 with offhand.
Okay, so tossing your scimitars to the side, you pull out your daggers and hurl 2 of them in the direction of this Grung dangling from the side of the roof. Both of them hit.
Okay, 10 piercing and 3 from sneak attack.
Okay, I don't
Oh,
think
wait,
you
no sneak
get
attack,
sneak
no sneak
attack from
attack,
this one.
yeah.
Yeah,
So 10 piercing.
but with the 10 piercing being enough, this one just being on the brink of death, both daggers fly through the air, just and then sink into the back of this grung. And somebody else can host it after when we take our break.
Oh, that's right, because I probably dropped it after Savannah dropped the first time. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might be hosting again now, though. I don't know if you had the notification pop up. I just got a little thing up saying, like, blank is now hosting, so...
Yeah, it's saying my internet connection is unstable. I'm about to drop the call.
They can hear us, so we've got the
We hear
audio
voices.
back.
Hi, guys!
These are the voices in your head.
This is an
We're going back. Okay, we are back again. We've finished out this combat here. I think we're going to try to take our break early today and iron out some technical difficulties and see if we can get a more permanent fix for the second half of the stream here. Thank you guys for bearing with us, though. Again, this has been a trial. So, but thank you to Savannah for keeping this all running the best we can, frantically bailing out a sinking ship.
She's our rock.
Yeah. All right. So as the final Grung falls to the ground, all of the Grung in the vicinity being taken care of, what would you guys like to do?
Am I near one of the windows that you said was on the facade?
You are, yes.
I know you said from the road they look dark. Can I see any? I mean, I'm short. I understand these things, but I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say, can I see anything in the window?
Make a perception check.
17.
17. Okay, so you go up to the window and peer your head over the windowsill, trying to look into the house. The curtains are currently pulled closed. However, there is a slight gap in the center that you can just barely peer through. It is dark inside. You do make out a faint bit of movement from inside the house. It appears there is something in there, though you can't really tell what given the lighting.
Okay, I run over here next to Den, and yeah, I don't whisper because I just made a whole lot of noise running by the window, but
Guys, there's still something inside. I'm not sure what it is. Should we go in?
I walk over to the door and kick it open.
Okay, you walk up to the door. Make an athletics check.
24.
24.
I'm very
so,
strong.
Den, gripping her warhammer shield, just shakes her head, walks up to the door, leans back, and kicks forward. There is a splintering of wood as the door is nearly flung off of its hinges and slams open. You hear the frantic cries of some creatures within as you peer into this darkened interior. Do you rush in, or are you staying at the door?
How dark is it in there?
I would say within 20 feet or so of the door, it's dim light where the light from outside is coming in. Near the back of the room, it's darkness.
Okay, I don't have dark vision. So I will can I cast light on my hammer
Okay.
so I can see?
Okay, so as you're going into the door, you use your action to cast light, which illuminates the area, and further in, you can see the interior of the home. There is a Grung currently standing on what looks to be a dining or kitchen table, a couple of others throughout the room, all with daggers drawn, peering in your direction with anger and fear in their eyes.
So I'm right behind Den, and I'm like looking around her hip. How far away is the one on the table? Because I just want to chuck my dagger at the one on the table.
The one on the table is probably about 15 feet away from you right now. And we're going to count this as a surprise round going forward. So, Den, you got your action to cast light a little bit. You're getting your action to hurl your dagger.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack.
Here we go. That would be an 18.
18 will hit.
That'd be 3 piercing.
3 piercing. Okay. The dagger goes hurling, flying forward in the room and sticks into the Grung on the table, just glancing past its arm and kind of falling over to the side on the wooden floor. The Grung grips onto its now bleeding arm and stares over at you with confusion.
I've marked you, buddy.
I'm going to take you guys over to this map so you can see what's going on in this house. You guys are still technically outside, but just put you all right there.
I'm going to go and grab my daggers from that one frog before I go
Okay, so
in.
you're going to retrieve your daggers
Yeah.
before going. So you rush over to the side, rip your daggers out, seeing your friends just rushing into this house. With a sigh, you come running back around, preparing yourself for what might be ahead. Saddle, you're still in the tree. And Star, what are you doing?
I want to go in. Just wondering, what color are these growing again?
These all appear to be green. The ones outside, there were a couple blue, but the ones inside all appear to be green.
I'm going to try talk to them first into backseat and then in null, each time saying, throw down your weapons and we'll spare you.
Okay, so you come into the house to say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in as well. So you come in and begin to kind of yell in their direction. I'll say make an intimidation check with disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to understand what you're saying.
15 still?
Okay, so 15, you come into the house and you begin to call out to them in Tabaxian and Null. You see the one on the table begin to slink back a bit. They're all sort of caught flat-footed here, not really expecting somebody to just kick in the door and come rushing in, light streaming through the room. There's definitely a bit of a shake to them, and they seem a bit thrown off. You don't know what they're going to do yet, but there is some fear running through the eyes of these creatures that is recognizable to you.
I'm just gonna quietly whisper, hopefully that my friends will hear me, and just say, try to look scary.
Okay. And Sadel, as part of your action this round, what are you doing? Seeing your friends go barging into this house.
I'm going to give it a second to make sure nothing comes in behind them, or no more outside waiting to like ambush them.
Okay. Are you staying in the? So you're staying in the tree?
Yeah.
Okay. So you prepare yourself, prepare an action for whatever else might happen. You can use that action to rush in if you decide you want to at any point in the next round. Okay. So I'm going to need everyone to roll for initiative then.
Wait, I have a question. So if Star said that he wanted us to look intimidating, I bought those new thick gloves from the shop. Could I pick up the decapitated Grung's head and just kind of bring it with me?
Okay, so as you pick up your daggers, it's kind of actually that works out perfectly because the decapitated Grung is about halfway between you and the door. And as you come rushing around, you hear the strange language being spoken by Star from inside, and you hear him call out to you just as you pass this Grung to look intimidating. So you reach down and you grab onto the head of one of these this Grung that you decapitated and come rushing in behind, head in hand.
Okay, thank you.
Saren,
You're
our own
welcome.
carnival claw machine.
All right. Sadel, you are first in initiative, but you are still outside. You don't see anything coming in from around the outside of the house. You just want to stay where you are.
I'll hop down. And when I
Okay.
say hop down, I mean very gingerly get down.
Okay. So you go kind of sliding off the side of the branch and hanging there for a second and releasing. And as you hit the ground, you feel a twinge in your knee. Stings a bit, but you pull yourself back up. You go towards the house.
Yeah.
All right, limping for the first few steps, you begin jogging over to the house. It's more activity than you've had in a while, but you do make it up to the door. Okay, that'll put it to the Grung's turn. The Grung on the table is significantly intimidated by what's going on, and is actually going to leap off the table and move back towards the kitchen, back to about here, hiding over by this cabinet, and it's going to use its action to actually go into a dodge, just holding itself there, not really sure what's going to happen. This one by the fireplace moves back, kind of backing up against the wall, is also going to use its action to go into a kind of a defensive stance, not its only means of exiting the house currently blocked, and being afraid for its life. The one over by the stove on the far left side of the room over here is going, not as intimidated by what's going on, is going to come forward to right here, and is going, actually it'll go here, and is going to hurl a dagger at the person who kicked down the door and came in first. Den is going to attack you. That is going to hit you for 3 points of piercing and 3 points of poison. So as the dagger comes, as you burst into the house, your eyes adjusting the light emanating from your shield or your warhammer, what'd you cast it on?
My hammer.
Light emanating from your warhammer, you scan the room just in time for a dagger to nick the side of your neck, and then stick into the wall behind you. You feel the blood begin to rush down the side of your shoulder, and you look over to the Grung, kind of half hidden behind the table over there, staring at you angrily. At which point, you see the closed door on the far side of the room burst open as a red-colored Grung comes rushing out into the room. It looks to the one sitting by the door beside it and gives out a guttural bark in its direction, and that one sort of straightens up a bit, seeming to be afraid of this creature. It looks over towards all of you, and concentrating for a second, you all watch as there's this shifting of energy around its fingertips, and in the vicinity all around you, you watch as these thorns begin to protrude from the ground, kind of all by your feet. And that is going to be all that he's going to be able to do on his turn. So those spikes on the ground are going to emanate from where Star's standing and go about 20 feet in all directions. Just barely catching the edge of the Grung that's over there by the table. Lilibet, is your turn.
Does it look like I don't want to step on those thorns?
Yeah, it looks like you do not want to go through the thorn. You're currently standing in them, so there's nothing you can do about that, but it looks like it's painful walking over them.
Yeah, okay. Lilibet says screw it and runs and tries to jump on the table here.
Okay, so the table does not have spikes on it, so that's a good plan there. So you go rushing forward 5, 10. Okay, so as you rush across the ground, you feel the thorns and spikes protruding from the wood stick into your feet, through your boots actually, and catching the sides of your ankles. But you are going to take some damage from that. Okay, you take 5 points of piercing damage as you rush over towards the table and pull yourself on top of it. With your heavy armor, it's a little bit less leaping, a little bit more actually like physically climbing up. It'll take an extra 5 feet of movement to do that, but you have enough movement to get there.
Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna take my warhammer and slam down on the grung that is using the backside of the table as cover.
Okay.
Two-handed.
Make your attack.
I got a little overzealous. It's 8, so I think I missed.
So you actually pick up your hammer overhead and screaming in your furious divine wrath, you bring down your hammer. The grung ducks out of the way, and the hammer actually hits the table itself, fracturing the table, which begins to fall out from underneath you, and you go tumbling forward towards the grung. Make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Okay, hold on.
I'm making today hard on a little bit.
Clearly, it's fine. Oh yeah, she rolled a 2.
So you go falling forward as a few pieces of the table actually fall on top of the grung there, not being able to get out of the way. You fall forward outside of the spikes. Or actually, no, that would be right there. So you're still in the spikes. So you land on the spikes on the floor, kind of face first. You're currently prone on the ground.
Okay, that's my turn.
Okay. And that table is now broken. Dan, it is your turn.
Okay. I would like to look over, towards the red grung, the one that seems like he's in charge of stuff. Actually, I have a question, really quick.
Okay.
If I'm looking at the grung, the little frogs, do I get the impression that they are amphibious, or that they can like breathe water, or they just look like big frogs?
Do you have nature?
No.
Make an intelligence check.
Oh, okay. I rolled a 0 because I have a -2 in intelligence. So that's a big old nothing. I don't even know what a frog is.
Yeah, you stare at it for a little bit longer than that's comfortable, and you all kind of see the gears working in Dead's head as she stares very intently at these frogs. You're pretty hungry. What were you thinking about?
Frog legs. Okay, never mind then. I will just look at the red one. Oh man. You shouldn't have done that. And I will guiding bolt him.
Okay.
That's a 22.
Hits.
Alright. Better at hitting stuff than thinking about stuff. That's 15 radiant damage.
Nice. So you conjure up and begin to form this glowing, sparking ball of energy in your hand, and you send it hurling forward towards this grung, this red grung with this sort of bone protrusions running down the back of its head there. The bolt hits and it goes slamming back against the wall there, almost falling to the ground and pulling and holding itself up as it staggers to the side. This one is still up, but it is heavily injured by that attack. Let me check something. Okay. Seems to maintain concentration on the spell. That'll be the end of your turn. All right. Star.
Okay. I'm gonna have to brave the spikes. I am running up to here next to this grung by the table. The one that Lilibet tried to smash.
Okay. So let's see, you were starting from here. 15. So you're gonna take a little bit of damage from that. Maybe 15 points of piercing damage rushing across the spikes there as they all stick into your feet, each step increasing the amount of damage you're taking.
Do you want to know something absolutely hilarious?
What?
I'm now unconscious.
So Star goes rushing forward, and as he does, he kind of hops to one side. You see the trail of blood across the ground as he actually trips forward and lands face first onto the thorns. You see a little bit of a pool of blood beginning to form across the floor. We'll say you actually you would end up stopping if you fell unconscious right here. Face first on the floor in the spikes.
Well, I guess that's my turn.
That would be your turn. Good sir. Saren, it is your turn.
I'm appalled. Okay, I'm just going to kind of set down the Grung head next to me. And then I don't want to move, so I'm going to throw my only 2 daggers at the guy who made the spikes.
Okay. Gonna make your attacks.
You get
Okay.
advantage on the first one, don't you? Because of the guiding bolt?
You do. Yes. Good call there. So you will, if you hit, you get sneak attack.
Okay. Let's see. Oops. Daggers, not scimitars. 16 and 23 for the second one.
Both hit.
Okay, so I do get sneak attack.
Yes, you do.
It's gonna be 7 piercing and then 4 from sneak attack.
So 11 points of damage.
Yeah.
All right. Check. Ooh. Okay. So at that point, both of the daggers hit. One glances off, kind of cutting through the side of this Grung as it backs itself away from the doorway, being slammed into it from the guiding bolt. It hits a weak spot in its armor on the side, and it grimaces in pain, kind of doubling over a bit. The second one also cuts across its back, sending it down to one knee. It is still holding itself up on just the brink of life there as it's bleeding out onto the ground. However, at this point, you all watch as the spikes across the ground wither away and actually dissipate like dust across the wooden floor.
Wonderful. Okay, then with that
Star is still
gone-
bleeding out across on now where no spikes are.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna move now.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll end my turn there.
All right. Sadell, it is your turn.
Have I made it inside yet?
You're basically like 5 feet behind where you are in the window there. So with 5 feet of
Okay,
movement, you
cool.
make it inside the house.
Then I will come inside and I just have no clue what's going on. There are more battle toads. 2 of my friends are laying unconscious on the floor with a broken table.
And at some point while you were outside, a bunch of spikes grew around the outskirts of the house as you're walking through, and then dissipated before they were able to affect you.
I guess I'll take a shot at the is he red?
Yeah, the red one, heavily injured, bleeding out, is standing there in the doorway.
I'll shoot at him because he's different.
Okay.
With a
We need to
10.
work on phrasing, but
Nope.
10 is going to miss.
We don't take kindly to red frogs.
Oh man. As you come rushing in through the door, you take your thunder cannon, aim down the sights towards the Grung on the by the door. As you fire, though, the Grung looks over in your direction and actually ducks off to the side. The bullet hits the doorway and blasts a huge hole out of the side of the door that the Grung just came out of, but misses the the creature.
That'll end my turn.
Okay. They'll put it to their turn now. So, being a little bit inspired, seeing one of you go unconscious, the Grung in the back there by the door or by the cabinet is going to come running forward to right here as the two of them go to gang up on Lilibet, being easy prey right now.
Bring it, toadies.
The first one is going to go to stab down, but hits the center part of your armor and isn't able to pierce through it. It tries to dig in through the steel armor that you're wearing, but doesn't seem to be able to put enough force behind it. Frustrated, the other one goes to stab at you too, also with advantage. And same thing, tries to stab down towards you, but isn't able to get through your armor. You feel there are going to be some bruises tomorrow as you're being wailed on by these two frogs just trying to stab through your thick chain armor, but luckily the way that you landed, there isn't really an exposed part for them to be able to do any significant damage. And the other one by the door is going to go towards you, Saren, and is going to make an attack at you. That is going to hit.
Oh.
For 6 points of piercing and 4 poison.
Yikes.
Yikes. So it comes up and kind of shanks you with the dagger rushing up around the side of you. You feel the dagger pierce through a weak point in your armor, and you feel the poison kind of stagger you for a second, but that's all it can do this turn. The Grung wildling there is not looking too good, and is going to cast it kind of concentrates for a moment and places a hand on its chest, and you see this surge of green energy begin to course through it, healing some of its wounds. Sorry, I gotta roll for this. And you see as the blood begins to, the wounds begin to go away and some of the blood begins to dissipate. It looks like it's taken some hits at this point, but has healed up significantly from where it was before. And then it is going to use its movement to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 over to here. That will end its turn. Lilibet.
You didn't like my comments about your shirt before the stream started. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take my war. Oh wait, no. You know what? I'm gonna shoot. No, I can't do that. Star, I'm sorry. I was gonna lay on hands you, but I can't take 3 attack of opportunities and survive. So I'm gonna hit the red one with my warhammer two-handed. Okay. And as I do this, I scream or holler to Den. Den! I can't help Star right now. I'm kind of surrounded. And then I slam the red one with my warhammer.
Okay, I assume you're standing up first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So I hit the red one for 15.
That's gonna hit.
Yes. Okay. So really excited about this. And that will be 12 bludgeoning, max damage.
Nice.
And sent you a message, but I forgot on the dagger that I threw originally, because I took Great Weapon Master when we hit 2nd level, I should have re-rolled that 1 that I rolled on the dagger I threw.
I think you only get to re-roll them when you're wielding the weapons two-handed. I don't think you get to do that for
right.
all.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was
Thank
going to
you.
mention that. I just hadn't had time to type back to you, but
No
thank
worries.
you for
Thank
the...
you.
However, as you stand up, pushing the smaller Grung aside, you bring up your warhammer and slam down at the red one in front of you, almost completely getting rid of any healing that it has done to itself at this point. It staggers backwards, dazed and shaking its head, looking up at you with now shock and awe as it's looking around the room for a place to escape, but it is definitely a little bit winded and dizzy from that strike.
That's my turn.
All right. Den.
All right. Walk over to Star. And I will... How far is that? 15 feet. I will use my bonus action to cast Healing Word on him.
All right.
And I rolled 8. So you get 8 healing, and yeah. So I heal him.
Okay, so you bend down and place a hand on the back of the now unconscious Star, face down on the ground. Star, you feel the surge of healing energy pull you back from unconsciousness. As you pull yourself from the ground, you can feel the small pinpricks all over your body begin to heal away as you begin to regain consciousness, though you do find a few thorns kind of stuck into your fur.
Damn things, you'd think I'd be used to them by now.
That would have been embarrassing for you. And then I just keep walking towards the Grung.
Okay.
So that's my bonus action. So I can use my action to hit him.
You can.
Alright, I'm gonna use my action to hit the one right in front of me. It's my hammer. That's a 23.
That'll hit.
Woo. For 9 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, and as you speak the small prayer down to Star, you go walking past, you bring up your hammer and swipe to the side, connecting with the side of the Grung's neck and sending it scattering across the floor, almost slamming into the Grung on the far side of the room, clearing yourself a path. That one will be over there now. It's dead body.
Bye. I
Thoroughly taken care of.
I just give Lil a thumbs up.
Thanks, Dan.
Star, that'll be your turn then. You're muted.
Apologies for that. With how close I am, I'd have disadvantage on my attack roll if I was to throw my daggers to the two that are close to me, wouldn't I? Or would I?
No, because they're not within melee of you.
Okay, I am just gonna throw both my daggers at the green one, and I should still get my sneak attack at him because I'm close enough and I have an ally close to him.
Okay, so pulling yourself, using after movement to pull yourself up from the ground, you hurl your dagger at the green one that's just across the table from you.
11 and a 23.
Okay, the 11 misses as you hurl your first dagger. The Grung ducks out of the way. As it gets up, thinking the danger has passed, the second one sticks into the side of its neck. Go to roll damage on that one.
Ooh, that's 6 piercing damage.
And sneak attack?
That was my second attack. No, was sneak attack still hit it, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's an extra 2 points of damage, so 8 in total.
Nice. So this one sticks into the side of the Grung's neck. It reaches up and grabs the dagger and pulls it out, tossing it to the ground. It looks back across the table towards you and just kind of growls in your direction.
I just bare my teeth at him, and that's my turn.
All right. Saren.
Okay, so the scimitars are out again, and I'm going to stab the one in front of me.
Okay.
To 12 and then a natural 20 for the offhand.
Okay. They both hit.
Oh, okay. That's going to be 11, 19 slashing.
19 slashing damage. So with 2 clean cuts, you bring up your 2 scimitars and slash across the back of this grung. It, without even so much resistance, the life leaves its eyes as you leave a nice X mark across the front of its torso through its clothing and armor, and it rears backwards and with a heavy thud hits the ground.
Wonderful. I'm going to move right here, and I'll end my turn there.
Okay. That will bring it to Sadel's turn.
Alright, I am going to move around to the left side so I can get a clean shot on this, the green one, and then I'll shoot at it.
Okay.
21.
21 hits.
For 11 piercing.
Okay. And you've now sort of regaining your composure, your knee feeling a little bit better, having walked off the fall you took from the tree. You aim down the sides of this grung as it pulls the dagger out of its neck that started throwing at it, and firing connect sort of with the center of its torso, sending a streak of blood across the back floor of the room, and the grung just tumbles to the ground out of sight behind the table. And that one will be dead. Well done. That puts it to the grung's turn. All the green ones are gone. And the last one remaining is not going to have much it can do. So it is going to spend another spell slot to try to heal itself. That's its action. As it places its hand on itself, you see its wounds begin to close. The damage it has taken almost entirely dissipating from at that point, and it holds up its hands towards all of you in kind of a motion of surrender. It speaks out a few words, just kind of, a little bit.
Sorry, thinking through what she would do. With his hands up, Lilibet wants to grapple his hands and get behind him with both his hands behind his back.
Okay. Just for clarification, did you get gloves?
Yes, I did, and they're
You did.
on.
Okay, so you lunge forward and grab onto its hands. It doesn't resist. You grab onto one of its arms, and it tugs a bit, not really understanding what you're doing, and you pull its arms behind it, but doesn't resist enough to really cause any threat or make you have to make a check or anything. But you manage to hold its arms behind it.
Guys, he let me do this. If we don't have to kill him, I don't want to, but I mean, if we need to, I'm okay with that.
That's my turn.
All right. Den, Star, Saren, Sadel, what are you guys doing?
I'm just gonna see if he understands common tabaxi or no quickly.
Okay. Den, what are you doing? Since you're kind of first there.
Well, I know I failed my intelligence check really miserably earlier. I have this Emissary of the Sea ability, so I want to try to talk to him and see if I can make him understand me. It says that I can communicate with beasts that can breathe water. I don't know if he's like amphibious or not.
Okay. So Den and Star, the two of you go start making your way forward. Star, you start speaking to it in Tabaxi and Null.
Tabaxi, no, and I'll do common just in
Common.
case.
Okay, you speak a few words to it. The Tabaxi, the Tabaxi and Null, it both shrinks away from, seeming to have a visceral reaction to those languages. It doesn't seem to understand what you're saying, though. The speaking to it in common, it also looks at you confused, and it speaks a few more words in your direction in a language that you don't understand, but there can't seem to bridge that language barrier.
Can I do an insight check to gauge exactly what the general idea is? Just
Yeah, you can do that.
oh, 4.
It looks sleepy. Aren't sure. It definitely looks like it doesn't look hostile. You don't really gauge much other than that. Den, so you go up and you go to present yourself to creature. So how is it that you see yourself communicating to this creature with this emissary ability?
Wow, what a question, huh? Well, I imagine... Because I also speak Aquan, right?
Okay.
I imagine that it's some kind of combination of that primordial dialect, like Aquan, that the Triton speak, and that other, like, underwater creatures speak. Like, some combination of that and probably basic gesturing.
Okay. So as you step up, you use a few words in Aquan, but it's mainly used to convey emotions and sort of vague, like general concepts to creatures of lesser intelligence. As you speak out those words, the Grung pauses for a second, turns his head in your direction, seems to understand a bit what you're saying.
Oh, great! So he can't, like, talk back or anything.
No.
But he can understand what I'm saying.
He seems to. But at that point, we will go ahead and take a quick break as you guys try to figure out how to resolve the situation. So we will come back. We'll do a little bit longer this time since we're going to try to see if we can get a stable thing going make sure our video call is going to work. So we're going to do a 15-minute break if that's good for everyone. Okay, so we'll be back here in 15 minutes. Stay tuned until then. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Are we good with windows and everything, Savannah? Awesome. So, where we last left off, you had all defeated the Grung that you found squatting in this farmhouse here, and the what appeared to be the leader of this small group, or one of the more powerful Grung of this small group, surrendered to you. Lilibet, you've grappled him. You're currently holding him in place. And Den, you've realized that you do have some ability to communicate to it using a series of gestures and some Aquan phrases to communicate thoughts to that creature.
I think he understands me. What do you want me to say?
Can you understand it?
Not really. I mean, like yes and no and things like that. But I can tell him to do stuff.
I'm afraid to let his hands go. He seems to be one who's prone to magic, and a lot of times they need their hands. I mean, if he starts speaking, who knows what's gonna happen, but so I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna let go of his hands. You guys figure it out. You're smarter than I am.
See if you can get him to point us in the direction of his home.
Of what?
See if you can get him to point us in the direction of his home or the rest of his tribe.
Oh. Okay. I look back at Red Frog and using my Emissary of the Sea ability, I say, take me to your leader.
Its head kind of tilts to the side at you, and it just growls.
Is your tribe somewhere around here? Can you point?
It's holding its hands, or a little bit holding its hands behind its back. It shrugs against her grasp there,
Right.
and kind of.
Alright. I want you to nod for yes, shake for no. Okay. Is your tribe here on this farm? Alright, we didn't talk about making noises for no, but I guess that's fine. Are they close by? Do you know where Bonebiter is? Alright. He knows where Bonebiter is. That's the one that stole the sword, I think. Right? The orange one? Yeah. Thought so. Alright. If we let you go, will you show us where he is?
It kind of peers around, and it looks at you, and then it looks back towards Lilibet holding it, and it says, or it kind of nods and goes,
Can I insight check the frog?
Sure. Appropriate use of insight.
23.
23. You get the impression that it's trying to communicate that it will if you let it go.
But he doesn't seem like he's just gonna bolt.
No, it seems pretty well intimidated by the way that you guys tore through the 6 other Grung that were protecting it, or the 7 other Grung now that were protecting it. So you don't get the impression it wants to press its luck, especially with the one that can shoot fire at it from a distance.
That is really scary. Alright. We're gonna let you go, and you'll take us to Bonebiter. But if you try to run away, Lil will rip your arms off. You understand? Alright, everyone wants to keep their arms. I guess we can let him go. Very carefully, and he'll take us to Bonebiter, who we need to find.
Okay. Do you let the Grung go?
I'm assuming all of the aqua talk I didn't understand, but Den translated and said this is what she's agreed to, and I'm pretty much staying right behind this guy.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything?
While they're talking to the Grung, I want to collect my daggers and then go and find all of the Grung's daggers so I can add them to my immense collection.
I want mine back.
Wait. Okay, so first I'm going to collect my daggers, and then I'm going to see him picking the daggers off the other Grung, and I'm going to go up to him and be like, "Hey, kitty, do you mind if I took some of those, actually?"
If you can call me something other than kitty, then...
I'll think of something.
Until she calls me by something other than kitty, I'm taking those daggers.
I need to think of something appropriate, please. Let me Google.
Can I get my one dagger out of the green one? Next
You can. Everybody retrieves their own daggers, assuming you guys all have a coding system or they're color coordinated or something like that, so you know whose daggers are whose.
That's a good idea.
Handle.
Okay. As you look around, kind of gathering up the Grung supplies, you do see that all of the Grung have a single kind of poison-coated, pretty nasty-looking dagger on them. So there are 8 in total, kind of littered around the farm.
Can I get to some before him?
I mean, if you guys are just straight up running around like it's Easter and getting Easter eggs, it is, isn't it? I'll say that you're each able to get to half before the other one is, so you can just each take 4, and we'll just call it an even split there.
This is fine.
The Easter knife hunt.
After picking some up, feeling slightly more weighed down, I give 2 of the ones that I grabbed to Kara.
Okay, let me check if I'm actually encumbered now.
No, I might actually have to give all 4 of them to you.
Okay, so 2 more. I think I'm good.
Just a reminder that
got all 8 there.
Yeah. Just a reminder that we just do over encumbered. That anything that's beyond, it's only, you can carry as much as you can up to the point where it's whatever the over encumbered limit is. I don't do the encumbrance.
Wow, I forgot about that. So like when I was picking my inventory items, I was like, oh, not putting this in. Okay. I mean,
if
now
that's
I have...
the case, sorry, I didn't know that was rule. If that's the case, then we are sticking it just to 4. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so I only get 4.
I definitely need 14 daggers, guys. I need that many.
I have 6 now.
This is why we ask questions before we just assume that I'm going to apply variant rules.
Oh, I thought it was a general.
No, that's just a variant. I don't like it. I don't like having to police what every little kilogram you guys are carrying.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Can Lilibet, when she pulls out the dagger, the green one, I'm sure it's bloody and gross, take it and wipe it on the skin of the green one and get whatever the oils are on her dagger and sheath it?
Okay. So you want to try to coat the dagger in poison? Okay. Yeah, I'll let you do that. So you take that dagger, you coat it. You imagine that it's not going to last too long. You imagine it might, at the rate that it sort of evaporates, it's probably going to last about an hour.
Okay.
But you can sheath it and have it ready just in case something happens in the next hour. Anybody else? As everyone runs around picking up their daggers.
I'm just gonna keep my gun trained on the frog.
Okay.
So cool. Can I go to the door that our captive initially came out of and see what's in there?
Yeah, you can do that. So you go back towards the door, which is partially open and part of it actually blown off from the shot which Saddle missed earlier. Opening it up and looking inside, you actually see a modest-sized bedroom. There is a 4-poster bed that's kind of messy and the sheets pulled all over the place. And go and get the initiative thing out of the way because it's messing up my screen here. There are a few other furnishings, a couple tables just kind of scattered around, a typical bedroom furniture, and then a small chest over to the side.
Can I go see what's in the chest?
You can. So you go.
Kick it open.
So you go and you kick open the chest in the corner of the room. It opens up and you see some sheets kind of folded over the top, some other linens and things kind of stacked up. It's pretty full. If you're just looking at it from first glance. So are you just looking in or are you rooting around through it?
I'll look through it.
Okay. You pull some of the sheets and the clothing and the other things that are stacked over on top. Towards the bottom, it looks like there are some personal belongings kind of pushed to the bottom of this chest. There's a box towards the bottom, kind of buried under some things, and you crack it open and look inside. It looks like it's full of silverware, like nice actual silver. There's also a small leather coin purse tucked to the corner on the other side of the chest.
Are there any daggers in there?
There are no daggers in there.
Can I take the knives out of the silverware?
You can.
Okay, I take the knives out of the silverware box. I just set the silverware box on the bed. I take the knives out of it. I take the coin purse and I put that in my bag because I want that. And then I go back out into the room, and whoever's closer to me, either Star or Kara, I just walk up to them and I'm like, I found some more knives. You look like you need them.
Let's say that Star and Saren are like in the same area, so I'm just going to like pat him on the back and then I'm gonna walk away.
I just stand there, like holding them.
Star, what do you do?
Sorry, I had a few issues there. Can you tell me exactly what's going on again, please?
Sarah or Den came out. She's got a handful of what looks to be silverware, just the knives though, and she's handing them out to you, offering the
You like
knives
knives?
to you.
I found these.
I'm actually going to take them.
Okay, you can take them. You don't know how functional they'll be in combat, but or
They're
you can take them
shiny
for
and
your.
made of silver.
They are, yes.
Okay, do I notice this exchange while I'm dipping my dagger in Grungu?
Yeah, I mean I don't think any of you are hiding anything right now. It's a pretty open area.
I'm just trying to make friends.
Guys, those look like family heirlooms. Before it was a Grung depot, it was somebody's house. Should we take it?
Well, I left all the other ones.
Yeah, but how do you cut meat without knives?
Teeth, claws.
We aren't all cats.
Well, we could
do
leave some of them, I guess.
Do the knives have some kind of engraving or anything similar on them?
They have a sort of a general design in the metalwork of them. They're fairly nice, and they look like they've been well tended to, but they do look like they have some age to them. They don't have any markings about who they would belong to.
I'd put them back for now. I think maybe if we can just make more friends here, that may involve leaving their things behind.
Alright, your loss. I take them back and go put them back in the box.
Okay. You put those back in the box, and you put the box back inside the bigger box.
Yep. I put that box in another box.
Okay. Keeping the coin purse, though?
Yeah, that's in my pocket.
Okay. It's got about 15 gold pieces in it.
Cool.
I say about. It has 15 gold pieces in it. I have that bad habit of saying about before everything.
Can Den count that high, is my question.
Sure. That's a more of a character choice. That's up to you, but
I think she can probably count to 15.
how you want to play her negative intelligence is personal choice. Okay. Anybody else, as the red Grung is sort of standing in the middle of the room looking out towards all of you, sees Sato with his gun trained on it, just kind of standing there sheepishly.
Is everyone alright? No one's like bleeding out or anything?
I pull
Again.
a couple more thorns out of me.
I mean, I get hit, but right now I'm okay. I mean, if we want to take a short rest, that wouldn't be awful, but who knows?
I need to make a Constitution saving throw as well.
Oh,
went
yeah, because you went unconscious. Yes, you did. Go and do that. Haha. All right.
Natural one for a total of 2.
All right. This is when it gets exciting, guys. So that is a fail, so you are going to gain a lingering injury. So the rule that I have put in place for it is that at the end of the end of combat, if you have suffered, gone unconscious, and lost any death saves or things like that, it adjusts the DC. But as long as you've gone unconscious at the end of the combat, you have to make a Constitution saving throw. If you fail, then I roll on the lingering injury table, which I've created my own. Consider this is your first injury point, or lingering injury. I'll roll on the minor injury table. Okay, so I rolled a 1. So this actually isn't too bad. You receive a minor scar. So as part of falling, when you were kind of cut up by the landing face first in the thorns, you received a small scar just by your chin, that kind of cuts upward a bit, about 2 inches that way. It's nothing too bad and nothing too obvious, though you're not sure if your fur will grow back exactly right in that area. But you have that now. It has no additional effect beyond that. However, the only way you can get rid of it is by a healing spell of 6th level or higher.
Okay. I look handsome and rugged now. That's...
As much as a kitten can.
But it is healed over because of the healing spell that was used to bring you back to consciousness earlier. You just have a bit of fur kind of missing in that area, and there's a noticeable kind of line, just kind of that traces the line of your jaw.
You're cool now. So do we want to take a short rest? Wait! I run back in the bedroom.
Okay.
I look under the bed.
Okay.
Is there anything under there?
As you
sneak attack.
as you bend down and peer under the bed, you see a pair of shoes, little boots that have been kind of pushed under the bed, but you don't see anything else.
Frogs don't wear shoes. Okay, I go back out. All right. I think we're safe in here.
Can I check the chest without, like, keeping kind of one eye on the grung and check the drawers of the chest? Because now I've seen people look for stuff.
In the bedroom, or you're going into the bedroom where the same chest? Oh, that. You're talking about out in the living area.
Yeah, the chest that one of the grungs hid behind.
Yeah, it's not a chest, it's actually a cabinet.
Oh.
It has a few drawers near the bottom and then a top area with 2 doors that open up. But you can look through that. You open up the doors and there look to be some spices and other food supplies in here, generally well preserved. They don't look like they've suffered any ill effects. In the drawers, you open it up, and there are some towels and other, like, sort of flatware and things like that, some knives and tools and other things used for preparing food in the kitchen.
Okay, I leave all of it.
Okay.
Alright, I think we're safe. I checked under the bed. No frogs hiding in there. So that's good. Do we want to take a rest?
Yeah, well, I mean,
a catnap might be good.
how do we keep this farm from getting infiltrated again? They didn't send any guards with us because they were all recovering from the jumping fun. But if we take this grung to go find Bone Splitter, how do we make sure more grung don't come and take the farm?
Do we have any way we could perhaps show some kind of signal to say it's empty?
How long did it take us to get here from the fort again?
It was maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours walking.
I have an idea. I propose that we set up all of the dead grung, just kind of set them outside, and with parchment and ink, we leave a very spooky drawing of what will happen if more grung decide to occupy this house.
Well, that's pretty good.
I'm sure the one on the roof that Sidel blew his head off of would be really scary.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, we are going to find, like, the main guy, so hopefully they won't have time to send anybody else, but that's a good idea, just in case.
Nice thinking, Kara.
Thank you.
All right. So a few of you, while you're taking the short rest, are going to go gather up some of the bodies and put them outside the front of the house. And you're going to draw a... What are you going to draw on, and what are you going to draw with?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask if anyone has any parchment.
There's a fireplace. Is there any ember or any like burnt wood in the fireplace that could be used as like charcoal drawing?
Is it dirt outside?
It is. There's dirt mixed in, or there's some bare patches where the grass hasn't grown in, or carts moving through have caused it
Wait.
to.
Would the house have any like parchment? I mean, it's a house.
You can search around and look for some parchment if you wish.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just make an investigation check.
Yeah. 12.
Okay. You search around for a little bit, and you do find a small box kind of hidden on or not hidden, but up on a shelf in the western side of the house. And you open up that box, and there looks to be some pieces of parchment and a small inkwell and a quill inside of it.
Lovely. Okay. For the irony of it, I'm going to say that Vestarine is really, really, really bad at drawing. So it looks like a child's drawing, like frog stick figures, and like blobs that are supposed to signify blood. It's just awful, but
So just a couple of taller stick figures like stabbing a couple of shorter stick figures. Okay.
yeah.
So you actually pick up one of the chairs off the floor and you sit at the living room or the dining table, and you just begin like scribbling away at this parchment while everybody else is resting and tending to their wounds. You can take a short rest too if you need it, and roll some hit dice as well. And after you finish that, you look it over and looks good to you.
I'm gonna go up to Lilibet and I'm gonna show her the picture, and I'm gonna be like, so, does this work?
Yeah, gets to the point. I think what's really gonna affect it though is if we actually put the bodies out front, but then put the drawing on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you, a couple of you, I assume, help. Those of you that have gloves and good. Yeah, you can help Den. But you go and you drag the Grung bodies out to the front. The red Grung watching this the whole way with a horrified look on its face. As you prop up all of the corpses in front of this house, all in a nice line, and then take one of the drawing. You're just putting it on one of the bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, you just kind of push it on one of the bodies, and actually it sticks to the blood, kind of congealing on the front of it. Soaks through the paper a bit, but you can still see the drawing. It actually gives it a little bit of color and a little bit of dimension too.
Okay, I'm satisfied.
Well, I think that plan is all great and perfectly good. I'm just going to use my claws to scratch a little sort of tabaxi symbol or mark into the door frame.
Okay. Oh, anything significant to the symbol? Or what is it?
Would the clans have any symbols that they used particularly, or sort of their own?
Some of them might. The more prominent. Sorry. The more prominent clans have sort of crests and other symbols. Each one might have their own markings to signify their territory.
Star, I think we said, is swaying tree, so would there be one for them?
Yeah, they're the biggest clan, so they have the most sort of
just,
lineage to them.
Scratch one of the swaying tree symbols into the door.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually just at about a 45-degree angle. It's just the outline of a tree. Pretty simple.
Also, I'm going to take the ink and the parchment, like the leftover, and I'm going to just keep that with me.
Okay, you just take the leftovers and put in your bag. So you have about 10 pieces of parchment, and then an inkwell and a quill.
Lovely.
For more drawings. All right, but you all rest while this is going on and recuperate. It's about a little bit past midday at this point. The sun has crested overhead, and it looks like it's getting into the afternoon. So, where would you like to go?
I guess we are following this one here.
Will looks at Den and says,
Tell him to lead the way.
All right. Let's go.
So oh, go ahead.
Lil is just right behind this guy, ready to, I don't know, grab him just in case he looks like if he's booking off, Lil's gonna be there.
Okay, and I assume, Sadel, you're keeping your gun trained and locked and loaded. All right. So you begin to prod him forward, and then you give him your instructions in that strange combination of Aquan and gestures. He looks at you and gives a nod and starts moving to the door as Lil prods him forward. Begins walking to sort of a let's see, it'll be a northeastern direction, almost back the direction that you guys came from to Fort Harrington, but skirting the outside of the tree line towards the east. So leads you off the path and through the trees and proceeding over the hilltops and in that general direction. As you crest the ridge that you originally came down, the one you guys had so much trouble getting over because we lost the internet so many times, you make it back over that ridge, and you can peer out. You can see ahead at the top of the hillsides, at sort of the highest point, you see Fort Harrington, the sunlight gleaming off it. You can vaguely make out the movement of people moving along the parapets. You continue making your way kind of towards the east. You see the dense wall of the tree line, this jungle ahead of you, or to your right, as you skirt alongside it. You travel and walk for the next 2 hours with this Grung leading you through dense little pockets of trees scattering these lands, skirting around the outside of farmsteads. At one point, you get close to a farm and you see a wagon being pulled by a few horses, and looks to be a farmhand riding along inside of it. Looks over in your direction and sees the Grung for a minute, and you see him sort of panic and begin to pull back on the reins and steer the horse away, and then sees you all following along behind it, and stops for a second and stares out at all of you with a bewildered look on his face.
No need to be frightened. We're going to deal with the problem.
He kind of gives a nod towards all of you and goes, well, all right then, just keep him away from here. Kind of stirs the horses back towards the farm. Continue to glance over his shoulder back towards all of you. You make it till you're almost directly east of the making sure I got my directions right. Almost directly east of Fort Harrington, you can see the train kind of slope downwards over towards the cliff sides that leads out towards the bay where you came to Graldarr on, and the Grung leads you up to crest another ridge just on the outskirts where you see two dense groupings of trees and a sort of narrow pathway forms itself in between. It leads you up towards the ridge, and you all peer out ahead of you to miles and miles of what looks to be swamp. There is some dead trees kind of growing out of. You can see these rivers running through it towards the shore, kind of permeating and saturating this land, forming this basin of just muck. There is a sort of trail and pathway that winds through it, and just far out on the far side of this swampland, you can see cresting another ridge just on the outskirts of where the cliff sides meet the bay or the ocean. You can see some sort of structure, a building perched upon the ridge with a watchtower next to it. The Grung looks to you and points to the watchtower.
Is that your house? Is that near your house? Is that where Bonebiter is?
Yeah.
That's the important part. That's where Bonebiter is, everyone. In the tall thing.
How far does it look away?
You guys are at a pretty high elevation now, and you're just barely making it out. It's probably about 6 miles or so from where you guys are currently, through pretty rough terrain. It's going to, at this point in the day, it's taking you a couple hours to get here. It's about mid to late afternoon. The sun is beginning to set. You doubt you'd be able to make it there by nightfall.
Well, what do we do? I mean, I guess we go forward, but what do we do with him?
Well, I don't think we let him go yet, because I don't want him warning all the other frogs that were coming.
To be sure. Do we tie him up tonight?
I have rope.
Will his gross skin burn through your rope?
Better not.
Can I, do... I don't even know what this would be. Can I, look at him and see if his skin... Because we know it's, poison, but if it's, I don't know, acidic or something? If it looks burny? I don't know. A medicine check?
It's related to anatomy. I'll let you use medicine for it. Yeah, I'll let you do a medicine check.
I'm proficient in medicine.
Yeah,
Can I
me
help her?
too.
Oh, wait.
I rolled a natural 1, so 7.
7. No idea.
I gotta stop trying to do smart things. I don't know about that.
He's got a little loincloth on, or some form of clothing, hasn't he?
He has some leathers kind of arranged in sort of a patchwork stitching, forming some bare clothing on him. Also has this bone necklace with a few shards, forming this kind of spiked decoration. Not wearing too much, but yeah, does have some clothes.
I guess we can assume that since he has clothes on, perhaps that since they haven't dissolved or anything, a rope won't?
Well, let's get well, do you guys think it's smart to camp in the swamp, or should we camp out here in the farmlands and then make our way through the swamp tomorrow morning?
I was going to suggest perhaps we travel back to the fort for tonight. We leave our prisoner there, they know to go back to the farmhouses soon.
How far?
Sorry, in little voice. How far is the fort? I mean, I know we can see it at the crest of this hill. Could we make it there by nightfall?
Yeah, you're not too far from the fort. Essentially, if the fort's here and you traveled south to about 2 hours worth of travel, you've just kind of crested around it. So you were still only about 2 hours away from the heading back to the fort. So it would be about, the sun will have set by that point, but it would be a decent hour.
But we could reasonably go from the fort to through the swamp to the tower. You think?
Well, you guys are you guys are basically between the fort and the tower, so it's like fort here, you're here, swamp, tower.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, so if we, like, time-wise, if we go back to the fort tonight, like, in the morning, if we're traveling all the way from the fort to the tower.
Yeah, it might take most of the day. You might have to spend a night in the you might have to spend a night at your destination over at where you're trying to go at the tower, but you could make it there in a day.
I think that's best. I mean, I know I could use a comfortable sleep before we go and deal with this semi-powerful guy.
I would not complain.
Yeah.
All right. So taking your prisoner, who seems a little frustrated and kind of looks at you all with confusion, looks like it's gesturing that I can go now, right? But you all, I assume, grab onto it and drag him back towards the fort. Begins to sort of struggle a bit as you do, but doesn't make too much of an effort to get away, again, considering it has 3 Grung killers pulling it along. Eventually, as the sun sets over the horizon and darkness begins to fall, you make it to the outskirts of Fort Harrington. The bridge has been pulled up, and as you walk, a few guards lean over and call down, "Who's down there?"
It's us. We're back from the farmland.
"Oh, all right. We'll let you in. What's that you have with you?"
A prisoner?
So that's one of the Grung.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then, if you can promise it's not going to start causing problems here. Do you have it tied up?
If they didn't tie it up, I tell them to do so now.
Okay, so you guys start sort of binding it as the drawbridge begins to lower, coming to a rest on your side of the moat. You walk across the creaky wooden bridge and into the fort. The guards looking and inspecting this Grung, holding out their spears towards it. The one guard that you were speaking to steps forward, about middle-aged gentleman, says, "We'll take him to the cells then."
Remember, just don't touch his skin.
We know that's well enough.
Now, hold on a minute. We're only keeping him for the night. And you're going to set him free tomorrow after we've gone.
Set him free? Why would we do that?
He's been very helpful and has pointed us to where his tribe's leaders are, and I've promised we'd let him go for that information.
If we let him go, that's only one more that can slit our throats in our sleep.
It's only one. And if this one ever comes back near your fort ever again, well, he made that choice, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna run the second he gets a chance.
He's
not coming anywhere near any of us ever again.
Yeah, we don't want him warning the rest, but he made a deal. And he's held up his end. So, I don't want you killing him in the night.
Make a persuasion check. I'll give you advantage because Lil helped you.
Thanks, Lil. $15?
The guard looks down at the Grung and up to you and... Fine. We'll have to clear it with the captain first. But I'll tell her what you said.
Thank you.
If she has questions, we're at the inn. We're happy to vouch.
All right, then. You'll take him back, then. Good work. Has the farmland been freed, then?
All of the Grung there have been killed, and a warning has been left.
Good. we'll start sending some guards to retake it and hopefully get the farm up and running. Good work. We'll let the captain know.
It's mostly intact. I think the door might need to be fixed. You know how these creatures are.
Oh, of course. I imagine they've done quite a bit of destruction to the farm and to the house itself, but we should be able to fix it.
The cows look in good order, so that's good.
Good to know then. Well, get some rest, and thank you for what you've done. He takes the Grung, kind of prods it forward, the butt of his spear, and the guards begin to escort him over towards the keep at the center of the fort. So where are you guys heading? Back to the Outcast Inn?
First place I'd like, is the sort of shop in the fort still open?
The shops do not appear to be open. They look like they've been boarded up. You don't see any lights coming from inside of them.
Then it's to the inn.
All right. So you guys begin walking over towards the Outcast Inn where you've been staying during your time here. You proceed up to the doors. You hear some mild conversation inside, nothing too rambunctious, as you enter through the front entrance. There are a few people gathered around at the tables, having some drinks and some food. Some of the servers at the inn usher some food to the tables. You see Renly behind the bar as he looks up towards all of you, currently serving some of the patrons at the bar, and gives a wave and says, "Oh, you're all back then. How'd it go?"
Okay.
All right.
The farm needs some cleanup work, but the pests have gone.
All right then. Looks like you're doing good work. Need anything to eat or drink?
Dinner would be awesome. What you got serving tonight?
Oh, well, I'll bring it out to you. We've got some good. We have some of the provisions that were brought in with the delegation. I have some smoked boar. We haven't had boar here in a while, and we've been able to fashion that into a nice stew that we're serving tonight.
Sounds scrumptious.
Anyone want a drink? First round on me.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Don't worry, it's all comp for you. It's still paid for by the captain, as long as you don't drink too much.
All rounds are on me then. It's fine.
All right, well, just don't drink me out of house and home, and we'll be all right.
We have to be up early tomorrow.
Where are you all off to tomorrow?
There's still the source of the message to be dealt with. We didn't really have time to do it all today, so we rest up, we recover, then we nip it in the bud.
All right then. Well, good luck with that. Bring some food out to you, grab a table, and relax. And he goes back towards the kitchen. Kind of you hear him yelling at some of the serving staff inside. So you all go and gather around a table, pulling up a few extra chairs and resting finally off your feet after a long day of traveling. After about 20 minutes or so, Renly comes back out with with a couple of other servers, big tray full of 5 heaping bowls full of this boar stew, put it in front of all of you. Also a big plate with a couple half loaves of bread for all of you to tear off of as well, and then slams down a heaping or a hearty mug of ale before all of you.
I raise my mug and I say,
Here is to a great day where everybody survives Star, you kind of took a hit, but I think that's kind of our thing. Cheers!
Took a hit. He hit himself.
Hey, no lies, those swords were not messing around. Those kind of hurt. I mean, they hurt me
Yes.
pretty hard.
Very sharp thorns. But you've got a cool thing now going on there.
I guess if you really want to see some sharp thorns, I'll take you to my home village one day.
But it's all like thorny.
There are a few briar bushes growing around. That's why I thought I'd be able to handle the thorns.
You
Is
aren't
that-
gonna get cat scratch fever on us, are ya?
Star, is that always how you invite people to your hometown? Oh, it's great. Everything is really sharp.
Well, there's also some nice fruit there. There's great fishing around, and my mother's the best cook you'll ever meet.
Now that sounds much better. We should do that.
You see at one of the tables nearby, a couple of mostly drunken farmhands kind of deep into their cups at this point. One of them turns over and locks eyes with you, Sarah, and this is the gentleman that you played cards with the other day. And he stands up and calls out and says, "You! I want my money back. Let's play again."
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna look to the table. I'm gonna ask them. Do any of you want to join us?
Sure, I had fun last time.
I
Okay.
think I've figured it out now.
I'm still not sure. I think I'm just gonna watch some more. I got your tips, but I'm not sure I can use them yet.
Oh, what, Lil? We can be a team.
We play one set of cards each, or together?
Yeah, no, we'll be a team.
Okay.
Yeah, this will work. Trust me.
The tactics I told you, you may not want to utilize them yet.
I definitely need some more learning, I'm not gonna lie.
We'll figure out together.
Okay, I'm gonna go and sit at the table with the one guy. I'm gonna look at him and I'm gonna say, "So, what's your name, buddy?"
Thomas. Thomas.
Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's your name?
Kara.
Nice to meet you, Kara. And who are the rest of you?
I'm Lil!
I'm
You can
dead.
just call me Star.
Oh, that's me, all of you. So we're all playing?
Yes, Saddle, do you wanna play with us?
I'll pass, thank you. I'll just sit
Okay.
here and enjoy my drink.
All right, then. All right, deal them up.
Okay.
All right. So, I'm gonna do this a little bit different this time. Kind of make it a little bit more like a card game. So, what I would like everyone to do is to roll a D100, but don't tell anybody you roll. Just whisper it to me.
How do you want Den and I to do this since we're playing one set of cards?
We're playing as a team.
You're playing as a team. Well, then one of you
Yes.
do it.
Den,
Share the number with each
go
other.
ahead, and I'm gonna cast
Okay.
my last spell of the day and cast Bless on her. 'Cause why not? That's what I'm doing. Casting Bless on myself and her, and hell, I'm gonna give it to Kara.
Girl power. Oh my god, how do I whisper a roll?
/GM roll.
Thank you.
Or /GR.
GR, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you all have your numbers. I'll roll one for Thomas as well.
I've never had to do that.
All right, so you have your numbers now. That's your hand. So 1 to 100. Now you can decide how much you want to bet.
I'll put down 3 gold pieces.
Okay, Star.
Oh, let me put down 2.
All right, Den.
I will also do 2 gold.
All right, so we had 3 from Saren, 2 from Star, and you said how many, Den? 2. Okay. So we'll actually do this where you guys have to meet. So Star and Den, do you want to put in extra gold to match what Saren's bet or Kara's bet?
Yeah, I'll raise.
Okay. So do.
Dad, you think I should put in the 1 gold?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I gently place in the pot the extra 1 gold.
Okay. Now, what you can do is, if you are happy with your number, you can stick with what you got. If you wish to have another chance to re-roll, you can make a sleight of hand check or a deception check.
Sure. Can I reroll with deception?
Okay. Well, you have to succeed on the check, so that I'm going to set a DC for it, and if you succeed on it, then you can re-roll.
Can I do
Okay.
it with sleight of hand?
Yes, you can.
Can I whisper my roll to you?
Yeah. You guys can both whisper.
Okay.
Okay. And Star, going to do yours. All right. I'm not going to be able to. I'm not just going to type this a bunch of. So both of you can do a re-roll. Sarah, I'm going to type something you. Okay. And I want to make sure everybody knows we're going high, not low. There, we got that. Okay. All right. So, everybody, last round of betting. Anybody, Sarah, are you going to raise?
You know what? Yeah. I'll raise to. Let's see. I'll put down 7 more gold.
So 10 total.
Yeah.
Star.
Do I have to match the bet?
You either have to match or fold.
I'm gonna have to fold.
Okay. So you lose your 3 gold.
Yeah.
But you don't waste any more. And then, Den, were you going to make a check for anything before?
No.
Okay. So you go ahead and are you going to match or are you going to fold? Or call or fold?
I'll call.
Okay. So you go 10. All right. So both of you with 10 now. Go ahead and after the cards are thrown out, you all look at your hands and having some conversation, having some drinks at the table, putting your hands down, placing your final bets. You throw your cards down at the table. Both of you can say what numbers you rolled.
I rolled a 99.
I rolled a 39. I was just trying to mess with you guys.
Okay. And Thomas, did not roll as high. He rolled a 43. So after calling you, you get 10 gold from Thomas, 10 gold from Den, who you deduct 10 out of yours after those hands. And they both, Thomas sort of puts his head down on the table and just slams the table really hard and looks up at you and says, I don't know how you do it. Best poker player I know. I'm out.
Thank you, Thomas. And so that's 30 gold total, including mine, right?
Including yours, yeah. Oh, 33, sorry, with stars.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm rich.
I still have more gold than I started the game with.
Yeah, so do I.
Me too.
Not me.
Oh, that's fun. Like that.
All right.
I'm still not sure I get the hang of this game.
You will, eventually.
Anybody else doing anything?
Actually, I would like to get out the little diary I've got. Now I'm back in Graldarr. I want to spend some time rereading through it, like, now I actually can, to see if I can get any more detail on locales in it or etc.
Okay. Here, let me... So I assume you're going back to your room to do this, or are you doing this out in the bar?
I'll drain my drink and go to my room.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything out in the bar before you guys retire to your rooms for the evening?
I have a question.
Okay.
How close... Are we close to the water? Or is there, like, a well or something around?
There are a couple wells at the fort.
Okay, I'm gonna go to one of them real quick.
Okay, so you're going outside to one of the wells.
Yeah. I do want to take my book. I have two books. One that's from the surface that's enchanted and one from home. Right? And so I want to take out the one from home, and I guess I would be doing this every so often, the one that my sister gave me, and make sure that it's not drying out. And if it is, I just dunk it in the well.
Okay. So you look over the book, and it is starting to get a little bit dry. It's got that sort of... it almost looks like it's made from sand, like compacted sand, with some shells set into it, bound with what looks to be straps of kelp. You take it out. It does have sort of a dingy look to it. So you go over the well and you pull up a bucket of water, and you pour the bucket over the book. And as you do, it kind of returns to that pristine color and the normal appearance of the book.
If there's any left in the bucket, I also want to fill up my water skin.
You can do that too. Yeah. So after a day of traveling, you've kind of had some... You've almost depleted it, so you fill up the rest of it. Okay. So you do that. Everybody else finishes their drinks, finishes their gambling, and heads back to their rooms for the evening. Star, you settle down with the diary, I'm assuming, is what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You flip through it. This is very dramatic music. That's not what I wanted to do. We'll go with that. You flip through the book. You looking for anything particular? Looking for like references of the areas around you?
References to any locations, ones I've either been to or heard of. Anything in there that doesn't sound familiar to me, I just want to sort of make a quick note of.
Okay. Go ahead and just make an investigation check for me.
$11.
11. You flip through it, and most of it, as you've gone through it at first glance, and the couple other times you've flipped through the pages, you do find, as you begin to nod off to sleep, you do find there is a mention of landing and traveling along the coast of Graldarr, and you do hear reference of a that is not something that you're familiar with. The reference of a tower on the western coast, so far away from where you currently are. The locations given from the book makes it sound as though it's a bit north of Last Shadow Bay, a tower crackling with lightning that the traveler mentions going to, but you aren't familiar with it. You haven't been there before, but it does strike your interest.
Okay.
And you get a vague sense of where that might be if you were looking for it. But you could read more into it later. But that's what you get for the evening, kind of looking through it and perusing the book. Anybody else doing anything?
Can I once I get back to my room, uncork the white wine infused with Grung skin and see if it smells like the red wine that got infused in the cask?
Okay. You uncork it and you sniff it a bit. It's got sort of a more pungent tone, but it's somewhat similar. The white wine doesn't have as many of the masking sort of scents to probably drown out the scent of the decaying grung flesh, and that might cause a little bit of it. It's been pretty well preserved inside the alcohol. You aren't sure if you would want to drink it. It does have that kind of musty, a little bit of an earthy undertone to it, with a sort of pungent nature to the smell, and you can kind of get some similarities, but it is a little bit different. I think you're muted.
Yeah, I am. Go me. I'm gonna go ahead and do the prayer that came to me in my vision when I was a kid, or a couple of years ago, and do the same prayer over this bottle of wine, hoping to preserve the jumping capabilities of it, but diminish the fact that it's involuntary. So basically, I want to try and see if I can create a jumping drink.
Okay. Make a religion check.
Okay. Here we go. Religion. Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay, so you begin concentrating over it and doing the ritual, lighting a bit of incense and doing the prayer, seeing if you can imbue it the same properties. You start to see a little bit of headway, and you see the wine itself, some of the imperfections of it, the little kind of residuum floating around in it begins to dissipate and almost evaporate a bit, but not enough to have any significant effect at this point. You gather it's probably going to take some time, and you might need to refine the process a bit, given that it's so different than what you've been doing previously. But you do have a little bit of headway, and it doesn't seem hopeless.
Okay, I recork it and I put it in my bag.
Okay. Anybody else?
I actually have one more thing.
Okay.
So I have the other book that I have, right? My sailing book thing. Can can I go find Sadel if he hasn't like gone to bed yet?
How early does Sadel go to bed?
Not like super early, but at a decent hour.
Not like an elderly gnome wizard, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Sadel,
Yes,
can I ask you something?
of course.
Is anyone else around? No. Everybody
Assuming you're
else
at
is
his
doing
room,
stuff?
I assume
I
you're...
didn't know if he was in his room or not.
Or wherever you guys are. You guys are out in the tavern.
No one else is around. Can I pull out the book, the sailing book that I have, the one that's from Balvar, it's from Karat. Listen. You're real smart, right?
Well, sure.
Good. I just have a question. I mean, I'd appreciate it if you didn't like mention it to anyone else.
Of course.
If I take out the book and I open it to like halfway through, and I've got there's some like writing in the margins, like notes and stuff, like words underlined and stuff like written out on the sides. And I have a word circled in it, and I sort of show him the book and ask him, and it's written in common, and just say, can you tell me what this word means?
You look through at the book, and it has some pretty. It looks to be a manual, basically that gives an instruct. Sorry, Savannah, what'd you say?
Oh no, I said I had given him a word.
Okay,
Mhm.
but you look through it, and it's basically a instructional manual with different sort of terms and instructions on sailing and discussing some of the finer aspects of navigating different parts of the world and such. So you look it over.
Well, this word right here, it says circumnavigate.
Yeah. Can you tell me what that means?
Well, it means to... You know how our world is a big ball? Well, that basically means that you'll travel around it completely.
That go all the way around?
Yes.
Oh. Alright. And I take the book and I put a line from like the circled word out into the margins, and I write it in there. Really slow and in like terrible, like childish handwriting. Thank you. This is not my first language, but I'm also not that good of a reader.
That's
So,
all right.
thanks.
You're very welcome. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Okay. I just go away.
Okay. Anything else? So you all head back to your rooms, well plied with drinks and food, falling into your beds after a long day of labor. You rest through the evening, recuperating your hit points and spell slots and all that good stuff. Maybe a few more den, some more Kraken whispers in the evening, but some unsettling dreams, but otherwise nothing out of the ordinary. You all wake the next day to the sounds of carts moving in the town square, just outside the city, or just inside the city, out in the in front of the keep. You can hear some children laughing as the day's events begin. It's pretty early in the morning. You can just get the the sunrise kind of cresting in through the windows in your rooms.
I'm gonna go get me some breakfast.
Okay. You all filter down into the main living area, or the main tavern area. Mostly well rested. Sadell maybe a bit stiff from the day's events, but the rest of you doing okay. Star, you might be a bit sore from the scars and everything, but otherwise you guys are doing all right.
Can I come
You're
down
all-
a little bit later? Sorry, I'm gonna
Sure.
pray because I'm gonna
Okay.
change up my spells.
That's fine. You all take your morning rituals and do whatever you need to prepare. You are able to change out your spells, and you all get a decent night or a decent morning's breakfast provided to you. Some bacon and eggs and porridge and anything else you all might need to start the day with.
No kippers.
I just am shoveling food, like
All right.
like a proper lady.
But you're all able to be well satiated with your breakfast before getting ready to head out. Anything else you guys want to do before? Are you just heading straight out of town towards the
If
the east?
If the shop is open, that is where I will be heading first. The sort of general store.
Okay, so you quickly duck out of the tavern to rush over to the store. So you go over to Darylyn's Trade Emporium, where you've spent some time previously. You come in through the door, the small bell on the door frame giving out a sharp ring through the shop. You see the owner of the Emporium, Sable, come stepping out from behind one of the thinking of a word, shelves. Yeah. Oh my
Racks
god.
of
It's been one of
Oh,
those.
wait,
It's been one of those
shelves
days.
is what you were thinking of?
Shelves was the word I was literally looking for. It's been one of those weeks, guys. But you come stepping out. She comes stepping out from behind one of the shelves. She has a small kind of inventory list, and she's looking over the stocks. And as you come in, she turns towards. She says, "Oh, good morning. Can I help you?"
Good morning. I have one quick question. I know it's a bit of a long shot. By any chance, would you have a book on the Sylvan tongue?
That's an interesting request. I don't think we have anything. Are you just looking for? Are you just looking for some sort of like instructional manual on it? I don't.
Instructional, anything with a few translations in.
Sorry, I was checking something. I don't think I have anything here. I could maybe ask around for you, though. They might have something in the keep. They have a small library there. I don't know if they have anything in Sylvan. I know that Tabaxi in the city have some writings on it, or some manuscripts that travelers have tried to acquire. I don't know of anyone that was able to, though.
I was hoping to get a bit of a head start on learning before I headed out. But thank you for your advice and in general anyway. I'll see if I can check the library.
Yes, I'll see what I can find. I don't have anything specifically in here, but I'll see what I can root out for you. If you come by later, I might have something.
Of course. Oh, and to be fair, a tip for a tip. If you ever do meet Bert, the merchant I told you about, just
Yes.
tell him that a star has come back to Graldarr. He'll know what it means.
All right then. I'll let him know. Hopefully, if you guys are able to get all this business taken care of, I can start getting some wagons moving through the pass and make some contacts.
Hopefully. Thank you for your time. We'll see if we can nip this problem in the bud.
All right. Well, take care then. If you need anything else, let me know.
With that, I leave and go join all my friends.
Okay. So you head back towards the tavern, and you all kind of congregate outside as you begin to prepare yourselves for your journey. What would you like to do?
As everybody gathers up, I kind of look around. I'm like,
Guys, I really hate to do this to you, but I think I need to stay here and pray. I'm not quite feeling so good about today, so I'm gonna stay back and try and get some divine help for you guys while you go to the tower. As soon as I feel like everything's better, I'll come and meet up with you, but I feel like I need to stay here and pray. I'm
Alright.
sorry.
Hey, you could go check on little frog guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure they let him go.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, hopefully Lucius and Barb can catch up with us soon.
I was gonna go and find him and let him know you guys were headed to the watchtower to the
east.
Yes.
and then I was gonna go sequester myself in the temple. I'm just not getting a great feeling right now, and I don't know if it's because I'm having a disconnect or if there's something bigger going on. But I'm gonna take today and try and right myself.
If that's what you feel is best, Lilibet.
I promise I'll be there in spirit at least, but I will I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
You take your time.
Thanks.
And I scurry off.
Okay. So a little bit you head off towards the chapel to seek some guidance. The rest of you looking around to your now dwindling numbers, bolster yourselves and go to head out the gates of the city, out in the direction of the watchtower you've been pointed towards. Anything else you guys are doing before you leave, or is that it? Okay. As you make your way across the hillsides, proceeding further and further to the east, winding across a small kind of narrow trail that leads this direction, eventually, after a few hours of travel, making it between the clusters of trees that you saw previously. You look out before you to this wide expanse of this bog, this swamp that seems to permeate this area, not seeing really any way to pass around it without extending days to your travel. You begin making your way down the hillside and towards the swamp. As you make your way into it, you find your travel hindered, and this thick muck, even on this raised area that this pathway sort of cuts through, becomes very difficult to travel down. You find your feet sinking about 2 or 3 inches into the mud with each step. You make your way as close to some of the trees that sit in this area and trying to find some hard surfaces to walk on as you go through. But it is slow going. It does extend your travel time significantly. As you make it into about halfway through the day, a bit of cloud cover begins to come up ahead, and the sun is blocked out, and the area becomes sort of dingy and gray as it looks like either a storm might be moving in. As this happens, you see little drops of rain begin to fall, just until there's this the crackling of rain against the water and the trees around you. You try to stay as dry as you can. Those of you that mind it, Den maybe not so much.
I am loving it.
Almost feels like home. Star, your fur is now kind of matted to your face, and you look like a wet cat.
I am not a happy kitty.
My goddess is smiling on us today.
You, as you make your way forward through the muck, trying to stay in good spirits, and you're having a hard time kind of proceeding through it. You see up ahead, kind of moving through some of the underbrush, what looks to be a pack of dogs, kind of snapping at each other, and then rushing through the tree lines, sort of off a little bit away from you. You watch them as they move through, and you see the one in the front, the pack leader, kind of stop for a second. And they're oddly colored dogs. They're brownish fur. They look very thin and lean. One of them stops for a second, sniffs, and looks over in the direction of all of you. And you watch as they kind of get low and begin to move in your direction. These thin, wiry-looking canines, and then you watch as suddenly one disappears, and then and then they move. You see them reappear closer to you, and then a closer until right in front of you, one appears about 20 feet away, just, and then it lunges in your direction. And that's where we'll end our session for today.
Everybody made the same face at the same time. Oh man.
All right. Well done, guys, and we'll pick up here next week with see how this goes as a pack of strange wild dogs that you could say blinking in and out of existence come
Strange
moving
wild
towards
dogs.
you. Yes.
Dogs.
Yeah, dogs.
Too often.
Come rushing towards you. We'll see how this turns out, and hopefully we will have Lucius and Barb back next week. I forgot to mention at the beginning of our stream, but they were unable to make it today, so they should be back next week, though, from what I know. But Sarah, you will not be able to join this next week, sadly. So you will be out without their paladin Lilibet. But we'll bring you back in as soon as you're back. So, any other things before we go, Savannah?
Yeah, I just want to mention the stuff that I mentioned last week, just in case, about, thanking people and all that stuff, about the stuff that we use. If you like the music that you hear on our stream, all of our stuff is from Incomptech. It's all this great royalty-free music that just got turned off very dramatically over me. But so if you like that kind of thing, check out Incomptech if you want to use that for your games. Our maps and stuff, Sean makes all of our maps with Incarnate, which is also this great, amazing map making software you can use on the internet, so check that one out. I do want to mention again Julie, our amazing, wonderful stream artist who made all of our character art. If you're interested in her art, if you love it as much as we do, if you're interested in getting to know her, more about her art, or want to know when she has commissions open and things like that, please let us know. Contact us on Twitter and we can put you in touch with her. In addition, which I forgot to say last week and I feel really bad about, all of our overlays, Sarah, our wonderful player over there, made those for us. So if you're interested in stuff like that, if you need an overlay for your stream and you like the ones that we have, contact her on Twitter. Her Twitter handle is above her little video window over there. So if you like her overlays and you want some of that, contact her on Twitter. Thank you to our friends today who hosted our stream. Thank you to everyone who came back again our familiar faces to watch us again for a second week in a row, and to all of our viewers out there we haven't seen before. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with all of our technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream. I'm really glad they got fixed for the second half, so next week will be better. We're always working, we're always improving. And if you want more excellent D&D and gaming content, follow YouPickGaming on Twitter, here on Twitch, and subscribe to their YouTube, which now has its own custom URL thanks to the amazing subscribers out there. What is it? youtube.com/YouPickGaming. So check them out, and you'll be able to watch all of our games again, as well as all of the other great stuff they have on their channel.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see everybody back here next week, same time, same place, to pick up the story. And until next time, good night, Internet.
Good
Good
night,
night,
Internet.
Internet.